Hello my owlings, and welcome back to Entitled Parents. Joined with me is Sky like usual. Say hi.
Hello.
So many shopping malls have feeding rooms in the malls, usually near a food court. I am a new mom and suffering from postpartum depression. I'll feed my baby anywhere if he is that hungry, but for the most part I try to run for the nursing rooms. I don't think feeding my baby in public is bad, but with my PPD I'll either ugly cry or go postal if someone tells me I should let my baby stall because boobs are offensive. I won't know until it happens. Now in the mall closest to us there's a lovely nursing room with change tables, free diapers on some days, and a family bathroom attached. Now right side is another family bathroom, but this one has these toilets that are made for very small children, so a lot of parents bring their being potty trained kids in. No big deal. I never got any nasty comments, mostly moms cooling at the newborn babies. So about a week ago I was there for my weekly mall walk as suggested by my caregiver for my PPD. My son starts to signal that he's hungry. My Mill, who goes with me every week, amazing woman, seriously, went to get me a snack in the food court. Then I began nursing my son. There's only one other woman there feeding her baby, but the room is shaped like an L because of the family washroom and she was around the corner. I'm feeding him when a woman brings in her toddler to use the family bathroom. The kid notices my baby and points.
Look, Mommy, there's a baby!
The woman in turn just nodded her head as she was looking at her cell phone. I smiled at the kid.
What's his name?
Oh, his name is Jeff. The kid walks up to me and is about 2 feet away just watching the baby. Doesn't even notice the boob really. He is just smiling and watching my son feed. The mom looks up from her phone, sees a sour look on her face. She grabs her kid and pulls him away. She opens the family room washroom and puts him in there by himself and shuts the door. I'm a little surprised, but it's none of my business, so I just try to look down at my son and feed him. She coughs and I look back up.
Do you really need to do that in here?
Here? Like in this chair?
No, in this room. In this family room. Can't you just go to the ladies' bathroom and do that?
Now, this room entrance that has a sign on it that says, in big bold letters, nursing room, or a figure feeding their child. It happens to have a family washroom inside, but it isn't just a family room. And even if it was, I'm pretty sure breastfeeding is more than welcome in the room. Anyways, I'm in shock and I feel my face getting red of embarrassment. Like I said, I'm suffering from PPD, and I have serious doubts about my capabilities of being a mom, despite evidence that says I am doing well. I think you have been mistaken. This is the no.
Why can't you pump at home, or better yet, just use formula? You breastfeeders are always looking for an excuse to expose your breast. You're gonna traumatize my son.
I can feel my eyes burning. I hate myself for this because I normally would have let her have it, but before I could say anything, the door opens and in enters my Mill. She has some food for me and is staring at this woman. This child parent barely looks at my Mill. At this point, the other nursing mother has loaded up her child and leaves the nursing room. My Mill joins me, not realizing what is happening. She does notice my face though and gasps.
Huggable Crockett, are you alright?
I shake my head and a few tears do fall.
You need to teach your daughter to learn some self-respect. She's exposing herself to children in a public place. She needs to do that in the bathroom.
My Mill breastfed in the 90s when it wasn't nearly as common as it is now and didn't have nursing rooms and had a ton of pushback for feeding in public. When her son, my husband, was hungry, she got pissed and stood.
Whatever you said to my daughter, you better apologize right the hell now. She's in a nursing room of all places, and if anyone is there in the wrong, you are.
At this moment, the family room bathroom opens up and her son came out. When he did, his mother grabbed him and covered his eyes. She is glaring at me again, and actually crying now, cursing my hormones. I had draped my jacket over my shoulder and she grabbed it and proceeded to toss it at me, in which I assumed was an attempt to cover me up. My mother-in-law stopped the jacket from hitting me or her grandchild.
I suggest you leave.
The child parent is glaring at me and hissing about me destroying her son's innocence when the door opens again. A female security guard enters and looks at us. She takes one look at us, makes eye contact with me, and sees me crying. The child parent jumps right in.
This woman is exposing herself to my son.
The security guard was having none of it. He had complaints from another mother that there was this woman shaming a mother for using a nursing facility.
She is misusing this room. This room is for mothers and their children to use. She is a mother using it for her child.
I'm gonna tell you right now to leave or I'll remove you by force. The poor child starts crying and he's loud enough that my son lets go of my nipple and starts crying too. Poor kid was probably scared, but this was too much for an entitled parent because my breast was completely exposed now.
See? She's exposing herself!
Security guard is clearly having a bad day because she just takes out a walkie-talkie and speaks into it. I need a security staff to the nursing room. Repeat, I need a security staff to the nursing room. She puts away the walkie-talkie when there's a muffled response as she stares down the entire parent. The entire parent is stunned, but still covering her kid's eyes. I jump into mom mode, and I'm trying to calm my son, breast still hanging out. She tries to argue with the security guard, but is getting nowhere. My mother-in-law offers to take my son while I cover myself. I put my bra cup back over my exposed breast and pull my shirt down. I am still sobbing, but my mother-in-law is able to calm my son and return him to me. I just want to go, and I tell my mom-in-law that. The test is a blur, but security guard says I can stay and leave a statement and they can call the police about harassment charges. I honestly should have, but I am so embarrassed and just want to go home. My mental state was pretty far gone. My mother-in-law really thinks I should have stayed, but I just wanted out of there. We ended up leaving just as the other security guard shows up. This one, a male. I don't know what happened, but I hope that the kid is alright. He really just looked curious about the baby. Regrettably, I am too nervous to return to the mall. I hate that I let this woman get into my head. I can't wait for spring when it'll be easy to take my son anywhere. Canadian winters suck. Okay, well, she didn't try to steal him per se. So I'm a 19-year-old girl, and I have a 7-month-old son. Not uncommon, but he still usually gets mistaken for my brother/child I am babysitting. I took him to a soft play area nearby on my own, and we were having a great time. He was playing with the blocks and just having fun. A woman came in who had 2 girls around 6 to 8 and sat near me and my son. It's at this point my son starts to cry. He was hungry, and the entire mom turns to me and asks if his mum was around, to which I tell her I am his mum. She looks shocked and then says, "Do you know what's wrong with him?" "Yes, he'll be hungry." "Do you know how to feed him?" I was completely shocked by this because even if I was babysitting, I would know how to feed him. Plus he is 7 months old, so I would think I would have fed him at least once before. I didn't say anything, I just pulled out his bottle and fed him in my arms. Since there were a lot of things going on around us, he was very distracted and would move away from the bottle to look at something and then cry because he has no bottle. Very frustrating. The entire mom then says, "I can feed him for you." At this point I'm just screaming, "What the fuck?" repeatedly in my head. I politely declined and told her I know what he's like. She then starts to get a bit aggressive, saying I'm too young to look after him and I clearly can't cope being a single mother. I'm not single, but my boyfriend was at work. I couldn't believe what she was saying and got ready to leave. I picked up my baby and put him in the pram. I couldn't believe what she was saying and got ready to leave. I picked my baby up and put him in the pram. He was screaming as his feet had now been disturbed. I gathered out things that were on the floor right by the pram, and as I turned around, the woman was unstrapping my son in an attempt to take him out. I full on screamed at her to stop, and an employee saw what was happening and ran over immediately and asked her to leave. She refused as the 2 kids were playing and she didn't want to stop them. I said it was fine and I'd even said that I just wanted to get home again. I was so incredibly scared of what could have happened, even though I'm fairly sure she just wanted to help. I haven't been back there since. Now, this isn't my story, but my cousin and his wife. Now, my cousin-in-law I've been pretty close to since she married into our family back when I was a kid myself. We were at a family reunion a few years ago when she told us the story. It felt like it really fits this Reddit, even though thinking about it still makes my blood boil. Some backstory: my cousin and his wife tried to biologically have their own child for many years. They did every kind of treatment that existed at the time, but after no success, they decided to adopt. They didn't care about race at this point, they just wanted a kid, so they adopted 2 biracial babies as newborns a few years apart. Now, the first child we'll call Ray. When you look at her, it's very obvious she is biracial because of her dark skin and hair. A few years after Ray's adoption, they adopted a boy who we'll call Jaden. However, unlike Ray, Jaden is white passing since he has very light skin, blonde hair, blue eyes, is quite chubby, etc. Basically, he looks like a stereotypical white child. The story happened when Ray was in the 1st grade, so it was 2015. She came home from school in tears, which was very out of the norm for her, since Ray was a very happy and outgoing kid, since my C and CIL have had her. So of course her mom asks Ray what's wrong, and Ray tells her, my friend, entitled kid, says she doesn't like brown people, and she would explain, as best as a 6-year-old could, that it had happened during their play period at school. CIO is in shock when she hears Ray say this, but sadly she couldn't say she was too surprised, since their family does get odd looks at times when they go to the grocery store, while rarely but sadly getting a racist comment from passerbys muttered under their breath. Cousin-in-law gives Ray a hug and told her to go play with Jaden upstairs, as she had just picked them up from his grandparents, so Ray agrees and the kids leave the scene. CIO was going to call entitled kid's mom to try to solve this issue with a one-on-one, since she wasn't the kind of person to involve the school or other parties unless they're absolutely necessary. After making sure that Ray is out of sight and earshot, cousin-in-law picks up the phone and calls entitled parent, and mid passes entitled parent picks up saying,
Yes, who is this?
Hi there, entitled parent. I want to call you because I'm concerned by something your daughter, entitled kid, said to mine.
Oh, you mean the brown girl?
Yes, and her name is Ray, not the...
Yeah, what is it?
You see, while they were playing at school, the entitled kid told her she doesn't like brown people, which upset her because she is dark-skinned. So I was hoping you could explain to your daughter how saying that to someone is inappropriate. Now, my cousin-in-law thought that maybe entitled kid was simply repeating things she had heard from her parents, family, TV, etc. Since young kids tend to parrot things their parents say at that age. Also, since cousin-in-law is a computer teacher, not at the school this incident happened, she was hoping this could be an educational moment for not only entitled kid, but possibly her parents as well. And then, the entitled parent replied in a huffy tone,
Well, my daughter doesn't have to like brown people if she doesn't want to.
Cousin-in-law is completely floored by these words. It's 2015 and this woman has the nerve to say something so blatantly racist and cruel, and because this was being directed at a 6-year-old child no less. Now, cousin-in-law is fuming and wants to tell her off, starting with, How can you say something like, and before she could finish, entitled parent hangs up on her to avoid a lecture from a rightfully angry parent/teacher. Despite her growing anger and frustration, cousin-in-law keeps to herself together the best she can until cousin comes home. When he walks in though, she's in tears and hugging herself, so he rushes in to comfort her, and cousin-in-law explains everything that happened during the phone call. The next day, cousin-in-law calls Ray's school during a lunch break and tells him about the incident that occurred between Ray and entitled kid at school the previous day. She also tells him about the phone conversation she had with entitled parent, and they are shocked by what they hear. Cousin-in-law tells them she wants to have the issue logged in case if something happens again with either entitled kid or entitled parent, and so they got everything on record. Then she hangs up after everything is settled and goes back to her lunch. After adopting Ray, cousin-in-law and cousin knew that race issues would more than likely be something they have to face, but cousin-in-law makes it a point, especially after this incident, to reassure that Ray, she's a beautiful and smart little girl, regardless of her skin color, whether she can.
So anyways, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Like if you like it, dislike if you dislike, and subscribe if you want. So we'll be back here next week with more Reddit posts. We hope to catch you guys in the next one.